in full disclosure, Wildwood was the place that my family didn't want me to go to. So my family went to Margate and Ventnor, and all my friends from high school were going there after the prom to lose their virginity if they hadn't already. And so for me, it was like the place that I didn't go to, and so as a teenager, I went later after high school in college. I went back with a camera to take pictures of what I missed, and then it was sort of like, I want to hear what these girls have to say. So, you bring sound equipment, you make a film.
Was that really the motivation, that you hadn't experienced that, or did you know about it, or you heard about it, or?
Yeah, it was ubiquitous. It was like everywhere around me, and it was. We all have like the sort of road not traveled, and that was really it for me. And there's a whole host of reasons that are not as funny as the film, but we could get into it.
Now, you went with the crew, and how long did you spend there, or was it over multiple visits?
Yeah, so we shot this over 2 summers, the summer of '92 and the summer of '93, and we finished it in '94. And the first, so I was there photographing for a couple of years before that, in '90 and '91, and then we brought a crew. It was 3 of us, Carol and I and Nicole, the first year, and then the second year it was 4 of us. There was a sound person, Karen Nenkel was the boom operator, Julie Wolf was the sound recordist. We recorded on digital tape and Nagra tape, really old fashioned. This is like the technique for how we shot this film. For any techno goons, we can kind of get into that a little bit, but and so we were there like 2 weeks the first summer and around the same amount of time the second summer.
I think it's remarkable that was a Super 8 production. That's really cool.
I love film, and Super 8 film. I really adore.
So you had a crew, and what was it like being on the beach? I just kept thinking, like, with the sand and all these moving parts. But
good thing it was my own camera. If I had to return it after a rental, that wouldn't have been very good.
But so you had a vision for this, but you really, did you focus on certain people, or were you just kind of randomly bumping into people and kind of just going, and did you go back to them? How did you just take us through that a bit?
So, because it's so transient and you run into people, you don't know if you're going to see them again, probably a lot like your film. I like this person over here, I might not see them in an hour later. So we would sort of scout, sort of stalk people on the boardwalk looking for them. And I think the fact that we were an all-female crew really made a big difference in terms of, women telling their stories to us and being really open. And Bonnie, you don't know anybody's name because we don't lower third anybody. But Bonnie is the girl who is a fighter, who claims to have killed someone. I know. She's my favorite murderer. No. Okay. I'm not joking about this. She is somebody who, I saw her on the boardwalk, I really loved her. I really wanted her to be in the film. She said, oh, sure, I'll be in your film. And then she proceeded to blow me out for a week. And so I kept following her, and I found her. And it was kind of like I trapped her. And then we filmed with her over and over again after that. And she taught me a lot. We learned about filmmaking from our subjects who evade us.
Sure. Well, but so this wasn't involved production, but you were also kind of randomly just kind of finding people, as far as bumping into them. Like, how many weeks or days, or was it all over? Like, how long were you there?
Well, I would say altogether it was probably about 20 days.
Okay.
Yeah, and we could plan all we wanted, but then
Also, it's on film, so that's a lot of, don't want to burn through a lot of film. Or
Right.
did you burn through a lot of film?
We did burn through a lot of film, and you can see, like, at the end, when you see the slates, like, there were several hundred rolls of film. We shot Kodachrome and Ektachrome Super 8 film. Some of it had the strip on it that has sound on it, so that was like a track. And then we recorded audio with a Nagra and a DAT recorder, I think, the second year.
But then, yeah, and that was, talk about that process then, how you had that, because nowadays it's so easy. Not easy to get the content necessarily, but
Right.
the effort that it takes.
I mean, how many of you are filmmakers in the audience? Okay, awesome. So
Our competition.
the way that this happened was, I mean, it was literally, I had a Super 8 camera. I love Super 8. I think one of the reasons why people look at this in a really nostalgic way is that it's the 90s, but shot on Super 8, so it looks like it's the 80s. So there's that. I answered an ad in the back of a magazine, literally. Crystal Sync your Super 8 camera, which isn't like a steady, time-based format. I sent it away with $500. I get the camera back with a little compact sort of recorder and cord that you're supposed to plug in, and it's supposed to miraculously crystal sync your camera. It didn't work. It didn't work. I had hundreds of rolls of film. I had audio tape. It was the very beginning of nonlinear digital audio editing software. And we did have someone credited in the film, Patrick Belden, who literally synced every single frame to make it all sync.
Wow.
And then when we edited the film, Jeff and I were talking about this earlier, because, we did things linearly before you could have a million different edits on Avid or Final Cut or Premiere and throw them out the window. We had to make decisions on paper. And so we did that. We made decisions on paper for the entire edit, and then if this actually happened, we're at minute 11, so we had to like everything, edit to that paper edit, and if we're at minute 11 and I decided later that I hated something at minute 5, we had to re-edit it and go back. And that actually happened.
More than once.
Not a lot of times, but actually the thing about it is, I think it's one of those things where I love the technology that we have now. It's amazing. It levels the playing field for everyone. But also, you don't really have to make a decision. My latest film, I have 100 edits of. I have one of Wildwood. Just one.
Did you think you were going to reach some of these profound elements that you did with the women, the girls that you interviewed? Because it really does touch on a lot of different, really serious things.
I think that there's misconceptions about girls from Philadelphia, New Jersey, Baltimore, Prince George's County.
Yeah, sure.
Where it's sort of like, oh, they don't really have anything to say. They don't really have anything to say. They're not that smart. They don't really have anything to say. And it's like, we knew that was not the case at all. We knew how introspective they are. And it is the kind of thing where, it's not sensationalistic. These are regular people who've maybe never been asked anything before. And they're passionate and they want to talk about their lives. Just like they want to talk about what they're passionate about in your film. They are so excited to talk about their favorite band. So I think that's what it is, and I think that us being an all-women crew, they were very willing to talk about their relationships and boys and love and sex and their parents and fighting, because I think they felt really comfortable.
But it definitely worked. It really did. It's extraordinary. Yeah, and,
That means a lot coming from you.
sure, no, I mean that.
And then, as you know, saying, a whole lot.
And we also, Eric, do people just shout from their seats the questions, or?
Yeah, I think they can project.
Okay, great. Are there any questions? I mean, okay, I saw you in the back first, and then I saw you, and then I saw right here, and then we'll continue from there. So I think right in the back?
Me?
Yes.
Thanks very much. I really enjoyed this. Do you want me to project?
I think you can project.
Yeah.
You're,
Yeah.
One thing I really enjoyed about the film was your sensitivity to different times of life, which I think have kind of broken down in the culture now. And you start from the first shot with the twins to the last shot. It's a nice structural feature of your film. And I was wondering how conscious you were when you were shooting. Was that something that came together in editing? Because it's a really nice organizational part of your film.
Thank you. Meaning, you said the structure of.
It's like you have kids, you've got teenagers, you've got older women, you've got a real sense of times of life as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, clearly we were really focused on teenage girls. I feel like every film I ever make in some way is about teendom, girlhood. And so those babies, those crying babies and those older grandmothers, they're all those teenage girls. But yes. And what I refer to as those rainbow twins, we call them the the rainbow twins. And there's an incredible number of twins. In one. You guys have all been there, you're constantly seeing twins. There's a lot of twins, triplets, and they looked so much alike. This is just an aside. They looked so much alike that their mother, I've been in touch with their mother more recently, their mother pierced one of their ears. So that's 4 ears, 1 earring, just so she could tell them apart.
wow.
She couldn't even tell her own babies apart. Which I don't know, I think that's like kind of funny. But I think that it really is about, and so with the twins, bookended at both, in the beginning and the end of the film, I kind of feel like we tortured them a little bit because they sang the song, and then I said, okay, don't applaud or give them any positive reinforcement at all. And they're just going to look at us wanting that, and then we're going to roll out. That was mean. This was all an experiment. The whole thing.
It worked.
I mean, isn't that what we did in the beginning? Like, that's what we did. We just tried things. We were really young filmmakers, and we just tried things that worked or didn't work, or we hoped that they would work.
Was this your first one? Your first film?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
A baby film.
That's great. That's great.
There's a picture of us as babies on the back of the Blu-ray. Really, yeah. I mean, we weren't babies, but, we were young.
And right here, question?
Thank you. I just thank you so much for this. I had, a few years back, I had seen this somewhere online, and I paid to download it because I had to see it, and it's just fantastic to see it here. And I was there those summers. I was 16 and 17 in 92 and 93. So when I saw all these girls, I was like, oh my God, I don't know them, but you know what I mean? Like, I was there. So it was just it meant a lot. I'm wondering, how did you get Indigo Girls involved? Because I saw that they were in the credits and all, and I love that song.
So, they were early funders on the film, and they helped financially. My husband used to work for Amy in her record label, and they were just really lovely and supportive, and enabled us to use that song. So, yeah, the music's fun. My husband was also a music supervisor. Now he's doing merch for me.
Steve Dixon over there.
Super Raz fan. Super Jack's really fan too.
I think there was right back there, and then Rich.
My question was about the twins, which on a side note, I grew up in Wildwood, and my class notoriously had a lot of twins. We were 40 people with 4 sets of twins. Dateline came to the school.
What did they say?
I mean, nobody knows why. But I'm curious how the twin thing came for you. I obviously the little girls in the beginning were twins, and then the Neil Diamond shirts. But there were like, how many sets of twins were there?
We did film other sets of twins. They were just everywhere, just dressed together. And then there were people who, you saw like there'll be shots where, 5 girls, all have like the top knot and the scrunchie. So you're like, are they twins? And they're friends, and the sisters are friends. I don't know. We shot a lot of others that ended up not in the film. It's funny, now that we're showing this again, and now that it's had its second, third, fourth life, whatever it is right now, we showed it the other night in Atlantic City. It's like the first time that we showed it, the film's been seen down the shore. And these 2 girls came in late. I keep thinking about them. These 2 girls came in late. They sat down right in front of me. Of course they were dressed the same. Like my husband took a picture of them from the back, and I said, oh my God, it looks like they don't have any shirts on, because they had like tube tops on or something. From the back, their back was, exposed, open, whatever. And they were really snuggly, and they were taking selfies, and I did not assume that they were a couple. They were best friends. And I thought to myself, that is the love story. For me, that is the love story, is the female friendship part of all of this. I don't know if it comes across.
Yeah.
Because they're sometimes not nice to each other, but I don't know. That's a nice byproduct of it. I'm sure I took that at a tangent, but the twins are like, they're sisters, or in some cases we don't know if they're related, and they're just dressed the same and trying to just be together.
Rich?
Yeah, it's kind of, it goes to the point of, you're talking about like the love story. There's scenes in this that feel narrative, almost like they're from like a Christopher Guest movie. Do you feel like that was part of your process in any way, of thinking of it as a narrative, as almost like a narrative story? Or that was that something of your background, or something that I don't know if you ever thought about it or not. Something I just noticed. I was curious if you had any reflections on how that played out.
I love Christopher Guest, and Errol Morris, and Jeff Kulik, and Mary Ellen Clark, and all of the people who sort of make these films that listen to real people.
Yeah.
Perhaps those who have never been asked anything before, and so, and I love documentary film as much as I want to work in narrative film, and have aspirations of that, and or work towards that and do things like that. I also really feel like the best dialogue. I mean, one of the reasons why we made merch and you did merch and things, posters with the dialogue from your film, is because you can't make it up.
Right.
It's so much better than if you had written it yourself.
Right.
So we learn from the dialogue of real people. There's nothing I like doing more, and my husband can attest to this, there's nothing I like more than coming to Philadelphia and just eavesdropping. Come on! Right? I mean, I know you all live here, but it's like, it's the best. Here.
Yeah. That's right back, where was that? Right there, yes.
Oh, yeah, so this was
I'm sorry,
high
I don't-
school. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, mine is quick. But first I want to say that it was totally a cool telling of like the universal female experience, because I feel like there was like every aspect of it. There was like women looking out for other women, women giving advice, being like, she saved me and like looks out for me now, like a mom or a sister, or like, so I feel like that really came through. And also like the bad parts too, where the girl's like, yeah, like we hate everything about ourselves, like my thighs are too big, and like and she looks great, and she's just like, no, this is all wrong with me. But I'm curious, like, at the end, you had everyone like telling their dreams of like what they're gonna do, and now it's like 20-something years later. And you said you followed up with the mom of the kids, like the twins. Is there anyone else in the film who like, you know, where they are now?
Yeah, the twins are doing well in their life, and they have realized some of their dreams. They're not over the rainbow, but they're in good spots. And Bonnie, who's by the phones, is with this other woman, and I heard from her aunt because that young woman died from a drug overdose. And that was really hard to hear. And I did hear from Betty, who is the check to cash girl.
Yeah.
Because she, you know, when in 2009, when people started learning about the film, and I can tell you a little bit about how and why that happened. Betty went to a wedding a couple years later, and people were quoting her. They were like, "Oh yeah, you got a check to cash." You got what? And she found out that there was a radio disc jockey here in Philadelphia on the morning drive show that was quoting from the film on the radio in the morning, and like all of her friends were talking about it at this wedding. So she reached out to me because she wanted to talk to me about it, because she was like, "That's not what I do anymore. I don't really feel comfortable. This is hard." And we talked through it, because all of these people were young. They were doing something else then. So in 2009, when it had this second life, it was a little bit of like the perfect storm. It was July 4th weekend. Jersey Shore, the show had just come out. Lana Del Rey, I quote in there, took 25, it was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Lana Del Rey. She was 41. That happened. And then the girls that are standing in a group together, they're like, "What's your name? What's your name?" You know, that group with the girls and the guys behind them. The one in the center is Dina from Real Housewives of New Jersey. As a 15-year-old. That was her when she was 15. So all of those things are the reason that people started.
That's interesting. That's really cool. That's remarkable.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well, it's great. I mean, that kind of thing just really, it all happened at once. So had you kind of retired it necessarily? I mean, or was it just, you weren't thinking about it?
I wasn't doing anything with it. And Rich Jusbiak, which I thank in the new credits, wrote me, said, "I want to write really thoughtful things about your girls from Wildwood, and I want to put something in Gawker." And I proceeded to not even write him back. I didn't know who he was. This is what we do. I didn't write him back, and I was like, I've made 5 films since then. Why does he care about this film? And he did it anyway, and he helped to really like blow it up. So it was.
Well, how was he finding out about it? How did he know about it?
He got a VHS tape from a rental store. We love physical media. He got a VHS tape from a rental store in Atlanta, and somebody said to him, "Watch this thing," and he watched, because they knew that he would like it. Because he was made famous for making that video that went viral. Said, "I'm just here to make friends," and it's all the reality shows together talking about, "I'm just here to make friends," and then they do something really shitty to their best friend. And so he knew that it would be like biting and that he would like it, and he gave it to this guy, and that's what happened. So he's thanked in there too, John Robinson from Videodrome in Atlanta. It was all like totally
Was it
random.
out on video? Was it released commercially on video?
No, I made a VHS tape and made my own fake cover and gave it to them.
Oh, great.
Right? I did it Jeff Ruiz style.
That's great. Perfect. That's wonderful. So we just kind of got through from that. That was 2000.
Printed my own labels.
Yeah, this is great. So 2009 though, it's already, is online video happening at that point? I guess YouTube was, was it starting to travel that circuit a bit, or?
Yes, it was
Okay.
on, he made a little compilation, it was on YouTube, that was on YouTube, and then people like would get it and put it on YouTube, so other people will put it on YouTube, and you know how the beginning of YouTube was, we asked them to take it down, right? Did you ever ask anybody to take it
No.
down?
I did.
I did.
I'm sorry, you did. That's
I was like, I can't believe you're
Yes,
doing
of course. But that, of course, motivated you, I think, to ultimately then get it out and start to, you know, ultimately restore it and have it available on Blu-ray and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that was
Yeah.
already, God, 2009. It's like 15 years. It's a long time ago now.
Yeah,
But-
at that time, it wasn't available, so, you know, I reached out to Carol and I said, hey, this thing is going viral, like, I'm gonna make it available and you can do whatever you need to with it, and that's great, and that's sort of what happened, and so, yeah, we made DVDs. Obviously, the restoration of Blu-ray is so much better, and being able to show it in micro cinemas. Love micro cinemas.
Yeah.
Like,
Eric, yes.
love Eric, and love Philadelphia.
So Carol is your co-producer on this? Is she actively involved in what you're doing or part of a?
Both of us, we showed the film in Berlin, at the Berlin Film Festival.
Wow.
And so that was really cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I think we had a question right here.
Question got answered, but I'll double down with twins. My 8th grade class of 2000 had 8 sets of twins in Wildwood.
Where is that?
It was always a joke. The class before me had like 6 sets of twins. There's something, I don't know. But that's a reality of living
It is.
But do you remember where you filmed Bonnie? Was that on Glenwood Ave? Because that was my corner to hang out. The spacing of those payphones are very ridiculous.
And then the stuff of her with the Ferris wheel, like,
I
there
mean, you have some here. You have another film, Lipstick and Dynamite. So you've got a body of work, and now people can see that. Is this available online or through any service right now?
So, it's available through, you can stream this through my website, through ruthlessfilms.com, but it's not the restored version. It's not the AGFA restored version. My most recent film is a film called No One Asked You. It follows Liz Winstead, the co-creator of The Daily Show, and her Abortion Access Front organization. And they go to all the battleground states in the South and the Midwest, and they bring comedy shows to abortion clinics in red states to help them build community, because maybe something might happen to abortion access, I don't know. That happened. So we traveled around the country with that for a couple of years, and it's funny. Like, it's comedy and abortion about how ridiculous things are right now. So that film you can see on Kinema. Lipstick and Dynamite is a film that I made that we finished in 2005 about the original women wrestlers. It's like, it has the fabulous Moolah in it, and the great Mae Young, and all of the original first ladies of wrestling. They've all since, passed away. That was in 2005. I'm trying to think. My film Alma is up there. It's a Southern Gothic film, shot on 16mm film. I love film.
That's great. That's terrific. And you're based out of Chicago right now.
Yeah, we're sadly not in Philadelphia, but we're based in Chicago right now.
Are there any other questions? Oh, right here.
How, with this being your first film, did you have any takeaways or lessons specifically from the process of filming this over the course of the 2 years that affected the trajectory of your career filmmaking?
That's a really good question. And yes, for sure. Well, technically, some of the things that I talked about earlier in terms of how it was made, but in terms of so one of the things I learned really from Bonnie, and then that carried me throughout all of my films, and I think it's really true today, is that when somebody steps in front of your camera and you interview them, they really give you a gift that you really need to take seriously, and honor it, and no matter what they tell you. And I really became very interested in the truth and versions of the truth, and why people tell you stories the way that they do, and why people want you to think certain things about them, whether it's true or not. I really love, documentary in its stale early days, when maybe Jeff and I were first starting to make films and we were probably bucking against, was all about like, what is the truth and how do we get to the truth of everything? And I think for me, starting with Wildwood and then, perpetuating with every film since then, has been a lot about versions of the truth, what one wants to believe is the truth, and what they want people to take away from them. And to be completely honest, I'm really interested in people who lie. And that's one of the reasons why I made a film about women wrestlers from the 50s. Because they have to, wrestlers, they have to really puff it up and tell you things that aren't necessarily true. And I think that you learn so much about the truth from people who aren't necessarily telling the truth.
Wow. Yeah. So I think it's, so you're really getting a lot out of all this, yourself, and you're continuing to follow this certain path. What projects do you have in store? Do you have anything you're working on now? I'm sure about half a dozen. Anything close to completion?
Well, right now, I'm really interested in alternate, I really care a lot about distribution and alternate forms of distribution, so that's part of the work right now, which is what we're doing here. I think that because of how things are right now politically in this country, I feel like it's not a great time to just start a new documentary film project about something that, I really care about social justice issues. It's not a great time for me to do that because funding is so terrible. I was saying to Jeff earlier tonight, and throughout making this work, we did our work. We made the films. It was a major distribution problem. There's not an audience problem. Audiences want to see things that are not, your typical docs. It's like streamers and broadcasters and, maybe even people who distribute theatrically, they're afraid. And so I feel like for all of the work that I do moving forward, especially with my most recent film, even though it's a social justice film, there has to be levity and comedy in it, because people are just too sad to just go see this, I'm going to say something about climate change, and we know how terrible it's gotten. And I'm not saying that there's not really important films out there. So I'm really interested and have been exploring working with some of the comics that I've met over the last several years on my most recent project to work on things that certainly reflect what's going on in the political landscape, but definitely poke fun at where we are. So, but I have not started a new documentary project.
But you have a lot right now with it. There's a lot of work in store going around and traveling with this. Look at you got a full house here. We're back here tomorrow. You're back tomorrow night too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're on tour and going around to other cities, and we'll continue to do that.
Going to Chicago, we're going to show it in Chicago, we're going to show it in Milwaukee. We were invited to the British Film Institute in London, so it's going to show there. I know. The name of the program is called Woman with a Movie Camera, which I feel very good about. Because I shot a lot of this film. I also didn't say the other technical funny thing is that I shot a lot of this film from a wheelchair. We rented a wheelchair from the local pharmacy. We killed that wheelchair. On the boardwalk, we killed that wheelchair. Also, shout out to Mark, who brought the piece of the boardwalk here. Where is that piece of Mark brought a piece of the boardwalk that he had inside.
That's great. That is
And there
cool.
wasn't even blood on it.
Was there any other questions? Right here, right there.
I debated asking this question, but when you said the woman with the movie camera, I felt like I really wanted to know the answer, which is, obviously you talked about this as one of the creators of the piece, but I think the idea of that teenage girl concept and how you say all of those ages kind of represent, they are that teenage girl as well. The connection between you not going to Wildwood as a teenage girl and then making a film, your first film, something so personal. I'm curious how that version of you felt, maybe not as the filmmaker, but just as like getting to go to Wildwood, asking the questions you wanted to ask of the girls that do go there.
You're asking a good question. Wow, okay. So it's complicated for me because the reason I didn't go there is because I was in an abusive relationship when I was a teenager. And so everything that they talk about resonates so much for me. And so that picking up a camera literally, like, you know, I took my first, you know, I went to University of the Arts and I had a portfolio of photographs that I got into that school with after I got out of this relationship. And so literally for me, picking up a camera gave me permission to be in spaces that I hadn't been in before, but that I knew I deserved to be in and that I earned to be in. So it is really, it's very tied up in that for me. And I actually wrote an essay a couple of weeks ago that ties together all of the women in my films in terms of violence and in terms of, because, you know, you have Bonnie talking about that and you have people really kind of talking about that in sort of a cavalier way. And I was 5 films in to making all the films that I had made when I thought, wow, there's someone in every one of my films almost who makes a joke about being hit. And so you know, and the name of this piece, it's in Talk House, the online publication, talks about me being, you know, I've been asked, oh, is that you? Is that you in your films? Oh, no, that's not me. It's not me. And then kind of coming to the realization that it is. And I am all of them, too. So I really appreciate you asking that because I'm just at the, I'm old now. And I made this film so long ago that I'm just at the part of my life where I'm actually talking about that. Yeah. So thank you. Did I answer that? Like, did I over answer that?
In fact, you could keep going, but I love that. That's good.
That's really wonderful. I mean, you know, it's profound, just like the film has. There's a lot of things going on here. So I'm glad you asked that.
Thank you. Thank you for making me feel comfortable enough to answer that.
Thank you for sharing.
Were there any other questions? Ruth, would you like to
Anything
have?
funny you'd like to say?
Would you like to have the last word while we're up here? And then we're gonna hang out, because we have merch over here, and
Yeah.
also, you know, let's hang out.
One little indie thing, after I gave all of the handles for Instagram, which I hope, you know, some of you will like post, say you were here or whatever, but no one there's no film critics right now. Like it's really hard to get things written about, and so Letterboxd has been our friend. In fact, there's a campaign for indie filmmakers to all come together and buy Letterboxd right now. It's awesome. I get the chills just thinking about it. It's maybe it'll happen and maybe it won't, but since Wildwood's been out on the circuit, again, people are writing Letterboxd reviews, and so if you feel compelled to write a Letterboxd review, it could be 3 words. I would really appreciate it, because that is film criticism right now. I'll just tell you one of the best ones we got so far. There's some really, they've been amazing, but one of them wrote, Wildwood, New Jersey is the greatest feminist film disguised as a film about New Jersey. Which I thought was good. Which I thought was really good. So, you know, or it could just be, somebody else had said, you know, wrote things like, well, I love girlhood. You know? I mean, anything. So that, I would love that. Tell your friends about it. Follow it. Remember, heavy metal, HMMPL 402. I don't even know what it is, but I'm telling you what it is.
But you're Ruthless Films?
I'm Ruthless Films, and the film is Wildwood NJ Doc.